let me also put another plug in for CMEA that my services over there are totally free, regardless of what we do.
So they're all free in CMEA?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Now, that being said, of course, there's just me, and so I tend to do more consultation and shorter term counseling so that I can see as many students as possible.
Okay. Now, when students come to meet with you on these private sessions or for the introductory session, are they guaranteed, if all being confidential, anything you share with them will not be released to the general public? You know, none of this will be shared outside of the room, you guys talking.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think what really separates my discussions with students compared to deans, compared to faculty, is that we have to follow strict confidential guidelines. In other words, that the conversation itself is actually protected by law.
Okay.
Now, there are some exceptions to that. The big exceptions are if the person is going to be of harm to themselves or others. The other is if legally they're being mandated to come, of which rarely are we going to see individuals that are being mandated by the court. And then third, there are some rare instances where a person will forfeit their confidentiality because they've signed something. Like, let's say you are planning to go to the Secret Service. There are a number of students that aspire to go into sort of federal and government jobs where they need high-level clearance. When they're being considered for employment, what they'll do is actually sign a form allowing for their potential employer to speak with us.
Okay.
So let me just say this. Even in instances where we have to break confidentiality, it's such a serious consideration for us that we will still speak with the student first.
Okay. Talk
about the type of information that we may release.
Okay.
So that there'll be no surprises in the end.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff. Another question too. So say, you know, I'm a student. I'm a student.
Yes.
And I've been having trouble with my classes. I've been feeling really stressed out. So I'd be able to come to CAPS and then make an appointment with either you or some other counselor who's trained in this field.
Absolutely.
And be able to meet with you guys for the first time for a free consultation, and then come back if I have, you know, more problems with my classes and, you know, my kind of psychological, you know, health. Is that reasonable? Like, how easy is it to really, you know, come to CAPS and schedule an appointment? Is it? Are there like other steps taken to the process? Or?
Absolutely. You know, I think you know, first and foremost, we sort of try to make the initial contact to be as easy as possible.
Okay.
So you can do this in a few ways. There are some folk who will just simply call, and if you call between the hours of 9 to 5, you will get the intake coordinator or someone who's sitting in with him. Okay. By the way, his name is Patrick Lillis.
Okay.
Here's an individual that will talk with you once again for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then he's going to determine the level of urgency.
Okay.
If your situation is urgent or emergent, especially if it's an emergency, you're going to be seen that day. And we actually have spots that are designated for people who either walk in, who call where we know they need to be seen right away. If it's urgent, I'm confident in saying, look, you're going to be seen within 24 hours. But it might be where, like you said, I'm having some difficulties in class, but you know, I'm not failing anything. I have some good support. I'm still functioning pretty well in other areas. For us, that means, okay, look, we're going to connect you with the right person, but in that instance, it might be, you know, 3 to 5 days, certainly no longer than a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so we really try to first assess, you know, how urgent is it, and then to respond to the level of urgency itself.
Okay.
In the worst of situations where we get pretty busy, I think the longest wait since I've been here in 8 years has been about 2 weeks. Now there are students who will say, you know, look, I'm busy, that doesn't fit my schedule.
Exactly, trying to match it
Yeah,
up.
right. Can we push it off another, you know, 3 weeks? That's on the student. But we really try to keep it under 2 weeks.
Okay.